I am Mike.
And I'm Maggie, and welcome to the MD Brief, the podcast where Mike and Maggie discuss the top stories in politics and sports and try to make sense of the headlines. Mike, do we have any follow-ups from last episode?
Yes, I got a couple of follow-ups. We talked about Nexstar, which is a communication company that owns 39% of the TV stations that you and I watch, and they're about to buy Tegna, which would give them 80%. I just want to follow up. The owner of this is a fellow named Perry Sook, and he appears to be a slightly MAGA person, but
Can you be slightly MAGA? Just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure he has got a right-wing bent. He seems a little more of a businessman than a MAGA guy, but that's the owner, Perry A. Sook, S-O-O-K.
All right. And owning 80% of anything in the market, isn't that called almost a monopoly?
It's called exclusively a monopoly, yes. So,
Just
but
saying.
we're in a brave new world here, and nobody gives a shit about
anything.
What used to be and what's right and all that stuff. So
just the almighty dollar.
Fairly certain that Mr. Sook will end up owning 80% of the local TV stations in the country.
Just not right. Okay.
There you go. Forget about the Fairness Doctrine. It's over.
Yep.
All right.
Speaking of dollars.
I just wanted to give a hopefully brief. I know you guys don't want to be bored, but just what the petrodollar is. I wasn't sure if it was a law or something, but it's more of a so the petrodollar system is the system where any oil related transaction is done in dollars. So if you got to buy
US dollars.
US dollars. So if you buy oil, you need to have a certain amount of dollars so that you can buy the oil. And it turns out it's just a kind of a convention or a informal agreement. It's starting to become self-reinforcing, but because of liquidity and consistency, and and up until the last 6 months, the US dollar and our Treasury bills and bonds and stuff have been the world currency and stuff, but that's starting to break down. But up until now, it's been the T-bills and all this have been the way to go for consistency and stuff. So it's not really a law. You do not have to buy and sell oil in dollars if you want. So if you're Russia and you want to sell oil to Iran or you want to sell oil to Japan, you guys can figure out a way to do it without the dollar.
Huh?
But people want some consistency and
stability.
The world currency.
Right, the U.S. dollar was considered stable for
the U.S. Treasury market is still considered the deepest and the most stable. And then we committed a complete mistake, and we elected a complete shithead for president, and now things ain't so stable, and now things ain't so deep, I guess. So, but there's no law or anything. It's just more of a convention.
Convention, and it was in people's best interests, and it
was definitely in our best interest, that's for sure. Last episode, we talked about how America decided to buy some yen to give, so the yen is starting
to help Japan,
in Japan. Yeah, but guess what? There's some ulterior motives here because Japan owns, I believe, over $1 trillion in U.S. debt. So if they need money to prop up their currency, what are they going to do? We
don't want them to sell what they have.
Precisely.
Because it'll weaken the dollar, which means that we have less spending power.
And it will also put the yield on the bonds up. That means interest rates will go up. Exactly. So there are some real world needs, I guess, to this whole thing. So it's all, so just to let you know, there is a little dance here that's going on with everything. So if one country owns a hellacious amount of our debt, And guess what? We need a lot of money because we're going to war with everybody under the sun, and all of a sudden we're at war with Iran, and we need more money to buy more shit so we can bomb them. We need to make loans and bonds, and people are running out of money and they don't want to buy our bonds anymore. We are
And we're up
SOS.
shit creek.
We are up shit creek without a paddle. So,
I swear to God, Trump destroys everything he touches, you know?
Yeah.
Who loses money on a casino? Who loses money on a casino? Trump.
Who on God's green earth can
in the
lose
world
money?
thought he was a good businessman?
Who can
and
lose
we gave
money?
him the reins of power of our country. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is me hitting my head against a wall.
Yeah. So to quote Jake Blues from the Blues Brothers, well, sister, looks like you're up shit creek. So anyway, there's an intricate dance that goes on with the finances.
It's called saving your ass. He's trying to save his ass now by buying, it's not out of the goodness of his heart.
Right.
He's trying to make sure that Japan doesn't screw us because they need money.
Exactly. Plus, there's another factor. If we had a normal government with normal people, we would say, oh, if we're buying yen, that's just no big deal, right? That happens thousands of times regularly. Things get a little tweaked and out of whack. But now that we've got these clowns in charge, then guess what? All of a sudden we're thinking, wait a minute, maybe old Donnie told his pals to short the yen. Or go long the yen, go long the dollar, and buy the yen because we're about to fucking bail them out. And now we're thinking, oh, what the hell? That probably really happened. He probably called his pals and go, hey, we're gonna buy some yen, man. You might want to go long. And kaboom, and everybody's making money. So, but before Trump, nobody would even consider that as a possibility. So, yeah. So anyway, all right, enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to say.
Yeah. How many times do we have to talk about it, I guess?
Well, it's just
the
lack of accountability, and people can just break the law.
I don't want to.
At will. It's just.
I don't want to bore our clients with the same story, but.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What else you got?
All right. The next follow-up is, I'm going to call it flock madness. So I talked about flock cameras.
Yeah.
Couple episodes ago. Well, apparently that is starting to be a thing, and it's starting to be a bipartisan thing. And whether you're left wing, right wing, Republican, Democrat, people don't like these cameras being abused by law enforcement and also gathering all your personal shit while you drive by.
Yes, completely not okay.
Yeah,
there's no privacy left in America. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean they have incidences of some guy in Wisconsin got tracked. He drove to Michigan to buy some pot, which is legal there, and drove back to Wisconsin. They tracked this motherfucker. Oh, sorry for the language here. They tracked this guy on the flock camera, and then they busted him when he got back to Wisconsin. He bought shit in Michigan that was legal there. I don't know why he didn't go to Illinois. I live in Illinois. It would have been a lot shorter.
Right.
But so law enforcement
cheaper in Michigan.
Yeah, but law enforcement is starting to abuse their privilege. They're tracking people down. ICE is tracking people down using flock cameras.
Eating some pot? Seriously?
Yeah, really, seriously. Really. And so these law enforcement agents are using this shit aggressively, and both right and left are freaking out. You've got now radical organizations are now telling people, here's what you got to do. You got to cut this down. You got to do this. You got to shoot it with IR, and they are aggressively trying to shut down these cameras. And
it's gone too far. Absolutely.
It's definitely bipartisan backlash against the flock cameras.
You and I were going to find one of these flocks, and we're going to get a laser and do whatever we're supposed to do.
Well, no, don't say that. Don't say that over there.
No, we're going to make sure that it's okay and that it's not broken, and make sure
we're going to make sure it's not broken. We're going to make sure it's working properly.
We're going to protect it.
You got to watch it. One of us has to bail the other one out. So one of us has to do it, and the other one has to bail the other one out. So
send my dog over. Attach a laser beam to, sorry, I don't know.
Maybe you can pee on it and short it out. Maybe
There you
I don't know,
go.
but this is we found one thing that is bipartisan. Everybody hates
Excellent.
everybody hates the flat cameras. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So,
And the
all
truth
right,
is, like I said, it's like the CCTV. Well, no, the CCTV in London doesn't grab your info. They just
right. They just got cameras, but these
so
guys are.
if there was any kind of attack or anything like that, or robbery, whatever,
Mhm.
they can use that. And that
Yeah,
I can see has value. This kind of shit is just kind of fishing, and poor people, they can't even go and get by themselves some pot in the next state. Come on. Ridiculous.
I don't know. People still getting busted for pot is fucking
Next, I'll be
stupid.
tracking, 17-year-olds going into the liquor store to buy some cheap beer.
And they'll be tracking women going into the abortion clinics. Yeah, they'll be tracking them, right? I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people ain't
Yeah.
happy. People ain't happy. I can tell you that.
All right. Flock madness. Got it.
Flock madness. I'm telling you, man. It's one thing that might
Interesting
be.
name, flock. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of the
I like
the
words. I don't understand
background
the
of
word
that.
flock, where that came from.
It's not a flock of seagulls. I can tell you
No?
that.
Okay.
And then I got an endless follow up on FIFA. It's like
Yeah.
every week there's something new. So not only did they have to apologize for trying to privatize everything, now all the other continental football
Mm-hmm.
associations are actively aggressively going after them now. You've got UEFA, which is the European Soccer Federation. You got CONCACAF, which is the North American, and then Asia AFC, the Asia Football Conference. They're all like actively, aggressively going after FIFA for even considering this.
Right.
So
Good for them.
hopefully, Johnny Infantino will get fired. But
He'll get fired, and maybe whatever corruption there currently is in FIFA, that might get routed out. Maybe, you never know, this will bring about some sort of new transparency, and
you never know. You never know. But
one can only hope.
the FIFA problem is endless here. So
Wow.
alrighty, let's get into the war, which it's about the same. Israel rejected Trump's peace plan. Trump actually had a peace plan he was trying to put together over Gaza. Of course, Israel rejected it. So forget about that. Israel is starting to turn into a problem child here.
They are.
If you
I think Trump and Netanyahu are actually very similar.
Yeah, if you haven't figured it out
personalities
yet.
and yeah.
And as far as any sort of negotiation goes, it sounds like Iran is using the previous MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, as the starting point. So if any sort of, and by the way, these negotiations are all kind of, we talked about this last episode.
Mm-hmm.
They're like high school, where a guy slips a note to this guy, and then the other girl gets it and it's like, hey, Mike really likes you, Maggie. He wants to go out with you. And then they pass it back and, oh, yeah, you're cool. I'll talk to you. It's all, it's all backdoor. It's all backdoor and shit. So, but every negotiation that Iran is talking about is using the MOU as a starting point. So whatever was in the MOU from about a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
All those points, Iran isn't even considering anything less than that.
Yeah, and the MOU wasn't great to start with.
It was
giving away the farm. Remember, he was saying maybe it's okay if they have a nuclear, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah, so for those of you that
So glad we went to war.
Right, it was, any of you ever heard of the MOU? It was a complete capitulation, a complete surrender by us against them. And
that's just the starting point, which means they want more.
Yeah, and I had also heard, I think I heard this today, that Iran doesn't even want to negotiate with America until January 21st, 2029. Until that would be the day, theoretically, hopefully that we have a new president. So Iran came out and said, we're not even going to talk to you until you have a new president.
So, darling, may I remind you of another president we had, Carter. Yeah.
Yep.
And Iran did the same thing. So there's nothing new and creative here.
Well, hold on there, honey. With all due respect to the conspiracy theory, the Reagan campaign did reach out. This is fairly well documented that the Reagan campaign did reach out to the Iranians in 1979 while Jimmy Carter was trying his ass off to try to negotiate that. And then they gave them a shit ton of money and said, don't let the hostages go until after the election.
Yeah.
So with all due respect.
So you're saying it's Reagan's fault, not Iran. You're saying that Iran was innocent in this and just said, oh my goodness.
Well, no, Iran wasn't innocent. They were just responding to what America did because we started their coup and we gave them the Shah. And Iran wasn't innocent. But Jimmy Carter was trying like hell to negotiate something.
Right.
And before the election.
And they waited until after he was done.
And that's because the Reagan campaign gave them a shit ton of money and said, don't let these hostages go until after the election. And Reagan ended up winning. And as you recall, the hostages got released like less than an hour after Reagan was inaugurated. It was stunning. So
I guess what I'm saying, though, is that they are using the same trick in
techniques, similar techniques.
Yep, going to screw Trump at any cost, and that means at any cost to us, and that means that they're going to just sit and wait and make him twist and turn and
except they're being open. About it. They're
upfront about it.
They're upfront about it now, right?
They know they have all the marbles, and it's like, too bad, so sad, Mr. Trump, we're screwing you, you asshole.
Yeah.
And this is what you get for killing my dad and my wife and my
This is
child.
what you get. I think his wife is still alive. Or she's still. I think his wife is still alive. But he is definitely in hiding. So, yeah. So, anyway, speaking of deals, I'm just hearing more and more that any of these deals that happen won't be announced. We're accustomed to, somebody coming out and saying, here's our deal.
That would be Trump.
Okay. Here's our 12-point plan, yada, yada, whatever. And it's becoming more obvious that everything will just be kind of behind closed doors. We'll just kind of slither away our Navy, and Iran will open things up with Oman. We'll take credit, and everything will just be kind of behind closed doors, quiet. There won't be any announcements. It'll just sort of happen. So, and that'll probably go down in the next coming months here. Well, our Navy will probably pull out nonchalantly, heads really hanging. Sheepish. We won't sit real sheepish.
Such a proud moment.
Yeah, it'll be so proud for the American military. Yes.
Thanks, Trump.
So I was hoping there'd be some sort of large announcement, but I think it's just going to be yada, yada, yada. And things will go on. Gas will go up a little bit. And
you're saying this is going to go on till 2029?
Well, that was new. That was today. So, or yesterday. So we'll see. The Iranians and the Omanians, but mostly the Iranians, definitely have control over the Strait of Hormuz. It's over. And we'll see. And then America will slink out of there, and then we'll kind of see what happens between Iran and Israel. And Turkey's involved here too now, so we'll see. We'll see.
If I may, why then should Trump even bother with an MOU or any kind of negotiation? Just leave. What have they got to lose? I mean, they've already lost.
He has to look like a winner. That's the bottom line. He cannot look like a loser.
All he has to do is say he won. That's how he handles that.
And
says that we have the best economy in history. All he has to do is say, yeah, we won. Those guys, they're such losers.
And
it'll be over.
Yeah, and between the corporate media and 35% of his followers, everything will be okay. It's like, we won the war. Yeah, right, man. Okay, sure.
Well, that's what he does.
He has to look like a winner
to himself. In his mind, he has to
himself. The
say
rest of
himself.
the
He's
rest
a
of us,
winner.
exactly. The
He
rest of
doesn't
us
care what
who,
we think. Yeah.
exactly. The rest of us who live in reality know
He
what's
just
really
needs to
really
know
going
that
on.
himself, no, I am a winner. And
I'm
it's
a
for this
winner.
reason.
Well, what was the Saturday Night Live? What was Al Franken who did? I'm good enough,
Enough,
and I'm proud
smart
enough,
enough,
and
and
Pete,
doggone it,
damn out, people like me.
people like me.
Al Franken, by the way, if you want to be our first interview, call us. We'll
He's
do it.
awesome. We love him.
I love you, Al Franken.
Loved his book. Awesome.
So yeah, so all right. Anyway, and I got one more thing. There was some drones that ended up going into Romania. This is kind of random, but they ended up going into Romania from Bulgaria. They were going after an international pipeline, and it made me think that the next series of bombs and drones will start going after pipelines. They've been going after refineries and blocking the Gulf, but now we've got pipelines. You've heard about the Nord Stream pipeline that got demolished. So I think as part of the war effort by whoever, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, whoever, they're starting to go after pipelines is going to probably be the next thing. So if you hear some random shit about some drone that went from Bulgaria into Romania, it's like, why the hell would that happen? It's like, oh, there's a pipeline that went through there, you know. So the pipeline might be a deal coming up for the future. So Alrighty, let's get into domestic. We've got the Pentagon is starting to press defense contractors for accelerated weapons production. And so we've been lollygagging for a long time. We've been lollygagging for a long time, and now the Pentagon is going, hey, we need some missiles now, motherfucker.
They're out. There's nothing. Yeah, there's very little. I mean, it's very little.
So between Lockheed Martin, Raytheon.
What if we were attacked? What would happen?
Exactly.
What would we do?
What would we actually do if we were actually attacked?
Everybody's over in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, we've got no bombs. We have no interceptors.
We ain't got nothing, man.
Damn.
So
we're just like Ukraine, starting from scratch. We need to ask Ukraine for some help.
Zelensky, can you help a brother out here? We
gave you some last time.
Well, I've seen a couple of guys starting to talk about how if you look at our defense equipment, it looks pretty damn cool. What aircraft carriers, F-35s, F-22s, Reaper drones, all this stuff, and we're basically 20th century, and the Ukrainians, the Iranians. They've moved on to the 21st century. So this would be
we're behind. We're legacy. Jeez.
We are legacy, absolutely. Even though everything looks cool and it's been that way, but man, we are old school, and these guys are going new school, and we're getting screwed.
Guess what? We still have a president who lives in the 80s, so we'll probably get more old school stuff. They're not going to.
Yes. Yeah, we have the perfect president right now. He's got his brain in 1984. So anyway, the Pentagon is yelling at these guys, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. We need some missiles now. You told me about this. I can't believe this, but Trump is actually fearing for his life, apparently. And when he went to NATO, was it 3 weeks ago? And
he Turkey.
Or he was in Ankara, Turkey.
Yeah.
For that. And we found out that he abandoned his new Air Force One and he went back to the old Air Force One. Well, it turns out he snuck out the back. They actually put him in a cart. They rolled him out the back and nobody knew about it. And they put him on a military transport to get him out of Turkey because he was so scared. And he let Air Force One take off with all the reporters on it.
A decoy.
And apparently everybody thought he was on Air Force One.
They did.
But he got snuck out through the back door. Yeah, so yeah, our tough president is getting snuck out. So all right. So Trump did execute a executive order that required less vaccines for children. They're trying to reduce the autism links, even though there's no
study valid study that actually shows it.
Yeah,
That's what he thinks, right? It's what he thinks.
right. So they've knocked it down. I don't know how many vaccines are required now, but down to 11. I think it's only an executive order, but I sure polio's still on the list here. Alrighty, and I just a couple of smaller items. Lake Mead, which is our largest freshwater reservoir, is recorded its lowest depth ever. 1,040,500 feet, which is the lowest this freshwater reservoir has ever been, due to droughts and climate change and some other stuff. So this is a massive reservoir that's at the corner of Hoover Dam and the Colorado River. And so I don't know what it means. I'm just telling you, maybe it's just cyclical, but with climate change going on, I don't know.
Right.
But exactly how it's going to affect, California. This affects everybody: Colorado, California, Arizona, New Mexico, all those desert.
It serves quite a large,
Serves
area.
a lot, and this is the lowest it's ever been. I'll let you guys decide what's going on. And then some really bad news. I'm a fan of the Liverpool Football Club, and it appears that Jeff Bezos is on the verge of buying 30% of the Liverpool Football Club, which would be a real...
Why do they want to give it to him? He already has so much. He has too much. Let somebody else have it.
Got a lot of effing money.
How about let the fans have it? Why can't they be like the Green Bay Packers and sell shares to the
socialism
fans?
Can't have socialism.
Not socialism. It's just having a piece of the pie. It's community owned.
Well, yes, but there's a deal where the rich Americans who aren't rich enough to buy an NFL team, they go buy a Premier League team. So, all right. Anyway, honey, that's all I got.
Okay. No, that was a lot, actually.
You got anything?
Interesting. No, honey, I had a very busy day today.
Okay. All right, fine.
Interesting things, but I can't remember them right now. Well, that's all we have today, everybody. Again, please follow, subscribe, or share with a good friend.
All right. Thanks for listening to episode 33.
33. Goodbye.
Bye.